Hi to all our volunteers in CC Kids and our school-age classrooms this week. I wanted to try something with you guys. Last week I had sent out a video, or your director sent out a video of me kind of reviewing the lesson and what you guys would be doing for the week, and maybe giving you some tips or tricks on how to make it your own, or a little bit more fun, or engaging the classroom a little bit more, or some of my own tips that I do when I'm in a classroom. So we're in week 3 of Undercover Kindness, and kindness is showing others how valuable they are by how you treat them. Now, one tip that I love to use for myself is that when I understand a theme for the week or for the month, it always gives me a fallback to when I can tell that I am not engaging my audience. You guys are in the classrooms all the time, not me. And a lot of times I write a lesson and I have things in order, but you guys can see from reading your classroom that they are not engaged with you, or maybe they need to calm down a bit, or maybe we need to hype them up a bit. And one of the things that I always do is, when I know my series, is I know what character I can kind of fall into. So this month with Undercover Kindness, I would always fall into a secret agent. So maybe if I was starting class and I wanted to maybe start with some rules for the day, I would act like an undercover secret agent. Possibly when I'm doing my main point or reviewing a Bible verse for the day, I can get into character with the kids, that maybe if they're all undercover agents with me, that we're all going to get on our chairs, or we're going to army crawl across the room. We're going to whisper it. In the kindergarten class, I actually got down one of the times that I was teaching in there, and I put the chair on top of my head, and I was whispering my main point for the day. And so just always know that you can just pull out the character or whatever theme we're in, and you guys can mix it up a bit. Also, another one that I liked this last week, the kids had fun with it too, is that secret agents sometimes have their own language. And so we made up our own secret language by holding our tongues when we were saying our theme, or whatever kindness was, what our main point is for the week. And so we would say, kindness is flowing out of how valuable they are by how you treat them. Kindness, showing others how valuable they are by how you treat them. Just something fun for you guys. Also, another tip that I like to do is I love to rip apart my Bible lesson that I print up, and I love to lay it on the floor right in front of me. That way my eye can kind of just go to and from and kind of see what's coming up next, or maybe some highlighted points of what we're doing. So that's just one of my own personal tips. I'm really excited for this week's class because I feel like it gives you an opportunity, especially in small groups, to give yourself to share your own personal story. This week in CC Kids, let me grab my lesson. This week in CC Kids is to be kind to people who are overlooked. And I'm actually going to really highlight in our lesson this week even what Crossroads.tv does. We talk a lot about that we will love our city by serving it, and that we are a generous people. And in the opening video, I'm sure many of you guys have watched it actually on Planning Center already, is that we talk about that we show love to other people, or we've served people who are overlooked, that we've given coats to our Lancaster City schools, to kids who don't have coats. We feed people and donate food to different homeless shelters in both the Columbus area and the Lancaster area. We really give out to our communities to help those who are in need. Also, our church goes on missions trips. I talk about the one that we're going to the Dominican Republic this summer, and we're giving water to people who have no water. Or that we're going to Mexico to work in an orphanage with kids just like them, to just be kind to them, show the kindness of God, that God loves them no matter what, and it's just random acts of kindness. And what I love about this lesson is that when you guys go into small groups, you guys may see my lesson, and it has a Bible story of when Jesus is talking about that when you do these to the least of these, that you're actually doing it to me. That you can tell your own personal story of maybe that you've volunteered at Impact Week at church before. If you're new to our church, Impact Week is a giant week at church that we all just love in our community. We go out and we do thousands of hours of volunteer work. Maybe you've been on a mission trip before. Maybe you can talk about times that you've gone to another country or to a different state and just showed love to people. Or maybe you've just volunteered on your own time. Or just think of some time that maybe you've helped someone that's overlooked. Maybe you make it a point to, when you see a homeless person, when you're downtown at work, that you buy their lunch, or that you don't give them a couple dollars. Just something that you can personally share. The one thing that I know about kids is that a personal testimony is so much more powerful than you retelling a story from someone else. If you have your own personal story, share it with them, and then ask them for their own personal stories. Kids love to get excited about these things. So this week, like I said, we're showing kindness to people who are overlooked. You're going to have a video from me that's going to start the class, and then an opener video from Undercover Kindness. You guys will start the day just welcoming kids, getting them excited, possibly even welcome our first-time guests. That's a way to show kindness. Maybe you can have your class give a round of applause to welcome and make everybody feel welcome that day. Many times new people are overlooked, or they feel overlooked. That's a way that you can show kindness in your class that week. We have a fun game in our older elementary school class. They're actually going to be undercover agents. They're going to put a ski mask on and army crawl across the floor in like relay race kind of fashion, and they have to put together their main, our theme for the month. Kindness is showing others how valuable they are by how you treat them. That's going to be a really fun game. I'd encourage the volunteers to really get into character, like be silent, or just really show your moves as an agent. If I was doing it, I would be somersaulting across the floor as well. I know in Lancaster that would probably hurt because you're on a gym floor, but just have fun with it. Show the kids that you love being with them as well. And then we lead into our Bible story for the day, and there's a video of a Bible story where we're going to dig into the Bible, the most amazing book ever written. That's a statement that I love to use in CC Kids. When kids see your excitement about the Bible, they'll grow up knowing that the Bible is the most amazing book ever written. And then they will hear the story about how Jesus told other people that when you love the least of these, that when no one else gets the credit for that, no one else sees that, they're the people who are overlooked in our life, it's just like you're serving Jesus. So the kids will get excited that when they love other people that are overlooked, maybe a kid who's picked on at school a lot, maybe they can do something kind for someone who works in the lunchroom at school, whatever it may be, that it's actually them being kind to Jesus himself. So I think you guys are going to have a great week with this. Another thing that I love to say is that because I have made Jesus the leader of my life, I want to be just like Jesus. A lot of times kids are learning what this looks like to have a faith in Jesus. What does it look like to be a Christian? And I'll ask the kids sometimes, have you made Jesus the leader of your life? I've made Jesus the leader of my life. And because of that, I want to be more like Jesus. And Jesus was kind, so I want to be kind too. It's a great one that you can always just default to when you're picking up the story, is that you've made Jesus the leader of your life and you want to be like him. And this month we're talking about kindness, so we're going to be more like Jesus when we're kind to others. And then you'll dismiss into your small groups, have some fun with talking about your own personal stories, and getting the kids to talk back as well. That's your time to really connect with the kids and bond with them, talk to them, hear their stories. You can share your stories. Personal testimony is so much more powerful than a story you're retelling from someone else. Also, I wanted to pass this along as well. This last week I was in a bunch of classes in CC Kids, but in the elementary school class, it wasn't in my lesson plan, but during my small group time, I made a point to tell the kids that I pray daily, and I wanted to pray for them this week. And I took my phone out and I showed them that I was actually writing a note in my notepad on my phone. And I took notes of what their prayer requests are. And in that very moment, the whole group was tuned into me, and they wanted to share the things that they cared about. They were like being slow with me so that I could type down their whole prayer request, that I could get their name right. They wanted to tell me the things that were on their heart so that I could pray for them. And I think that in that moment, they just connected to me a little bit more. So I just want to encourage you guys that during prayer time, to ask them for their prayer requests because kids are going through some things. I had one little girl share, she was nervous the entire time. She had her hair down in front of her face, and she was nervous and she was sad. And during that prayer request, I said, I want to pray for you guys. Do you have anything on your heart? And she peeked up and she looked at me and she said, I have anxiety really bad and I don't want it anymore. And then she made sure I wrote it down. That was something that she was really struggling with, and she doesn't want this anymore. And at the end of it, she gave me a really big hug, and that whole service, she just was kind of off to herself. And I just want to encourage you guys that that moment, that connection is so much more important than anything that I may have written down for our lesson. So I want to encourage you guys to just share your own personal story during small group about a time that you showed kindness to someone that was overlooked. And I just do encourage you to really write down their prayer requests or even just write it in a note. I hope that you guys all have a great week. I think you're going to have a lot of fun with this lesson. You get to show your side of the story, your testimony of what Jesus has done inside of you, and that's amazing. That's what kids ministry is all about. I want to thank you guys. I hope you have a great week in CC Kids. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you guys. Bye.